Okay, it's time to see what CSS Battle is in store for us today. Let's have a look. Okay. I think we're going to use one element which will make... Oh, actually, can I... Is there a better way of doing that? Don't think we actually need an element, so let's use the nested style. Set the background on that to that grey. Set the background on this to... Just for now we'll set it to the white. Oh, 20 would be right for that, but what are you looking at? 60? Let's make that a 52, I reckon. 52 looks fairly good. 120, 130, 132. Okay, that looks good. Let's add a border radius to this of... Let's see what the radius is. So, is this going to be the outer? It will be the outer. So 140 to... Let's call it 170. So 30 pixels. Yeah. Let's do box sizing, border box just in case. And then we're actually going to make this background nothing. We're going to do border solid 20 pixels. 30 pixels, 20 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, and we should be able to get away with that. Okay, so that bit's easy enough. How are we going to get the other two bits? Well, the top bit's easy enough because we can use a radial gradient. How much of the circle do we think this is? So 175, 223, 225, 175, 225. 75 pixels. Let's try 30 pixels. Let's make it this color. So no, BBB 30 pixels, and then transparent, and add 1Q, and then shift it up a bit. So 70 pixels maybe. 80. 90. That looks fairly close. It's not right. Make that 28 pixels. 87, no, 92. I think our circle's still too big. Make it 25 pixels. 95? Yeah. Okay. Now then, what we actually want is to chop that off. and not at 25, so is that actually just 20 pixels high? So that's 50, that's 30, yeah, so it's 20 pixels high. So we want to put it 5 pixels below the bottom, so at 50%, 5 pixels below the bottom is going to be 305 pixels. And then we need to move it up quite a bit. Let's move it up 305. Where is it? Why isn't that coming in? Let's do it at 100%. Okay, let's try it at 300 pixels. Then it doesn't appear. Interesting. 250 pixels. Let's get rid of the moving it. Why wouldn't that show up at that? So now 100% is nice, but we're 101. Let's try 102%. Then it's going to be slightly too small. 1.5. Oh, we now too short with till. So let's try 100.5. That's too tall, so 101, 102.5 might be about right. -1. That looks fairly close. How about -2? -2 is great. I don't like the fact that we've had to use 102.5 there. Let's do no repeat. And let's make that -302. Where's it gone? Put it down the bottom. Right, there's 10, 20. Okay, let's do 295. 290 might be too much. 280, 270. Why is it 220? Okay. 210. 202. Let's try 198. 198 is beautiful. Okay. Now, how do we get that little bit of red? We could use a radial gradient, a linear. Ooh. we do an inset border? Then we could just use a linear gradient all the way down. That might make sense. So let's do background linear gradient for how far? And then our box is here, so 60 to 200, so 140 pixels. And then red. Right, so that's filled that in, but we've actually gone too far down, so let's make that 120. Nope, 130. 130 looks right. Can we do a inside border inset? Could we do a, let's have a quick look. Okay, so ooh, inset box shadow. Inset box shadow could work. Let's try box shadow inset. Naught, and then how much it's inset. So 0, 10 pixel. Whoop, 10 pixels. And then this grey. Whoop. That looks good. Then we should be able to get rid of that, and that. Hit submit to see whether or not we're 100% before we go too far. We're 100%. That's good. Let's minify it and submit and see how good we've done. Now, is there a better way we could have done this? Maybe we could just use 2 box shadows around the initial. So let's try that. Let's get rid of this. Actually, we're going to want a fair chunk of that first bit, so let's just take at least that chunk out of it. The rest of it I'm not so bothered by. We'll just make this slightly more readable. There we go. Let's make this background light grey. Now then, we actually want this to be in another 10, 20 pixels. So let's try 72 and 152. Does that cover exactly where I want it? Yes, it does. Okay, the diff. Then we can do. Okay, what's the actual border radius of this little diddy one? 160 to maybe 170. So 10 pixels border radius, 10 pixels. That looks good. Then we do background linear gradient transparent for, we're going for what right, 200 from about 70, so let's try 130 pixels, then that red. One twenty, beautiful. Then we just do box shadow, this color, 0, 0, 10 pixels. Actually, we want that at the end. It's going to be 0, 0, 0, 10 pixels, and then we do that, and then we add a 0, 0, 0, 20 pixels, that color. See, some artifacts that we get then, and that's not quite. Also, for no apparent reason, things have moved. Oh, of course they have. 198, 178, 178 looks like it'll be close. Let's see whether or not that actually will do what we want, or if we're better off doing this the other way around. See, that it's because the box shadows are leaving little bits. We don't like that. So let's go back to how we had it before. 3, 2. Let's do inset on that and inset on that. That's still not going to be good. That wants to be 30. And these are back to front. That wants to be 20. That wants to be 10. And let's move them the other way around. That looks closer. Let's move this down by 20 pixels as well. That's good. And let's make that back to 198. That looks very good to me. And then let's hit submit. Any luck, this should be a better score. I still don't like this though. Let's minify that and hit submit. Just barely better. Is there anything else that I can think of that we could do? So I really don't like this. I really wanted to be able to do that as pixels. Should we just do it as pixels? Let's do 5 pixels and then minus 200. 250? No, it really doesn't work if you do that. Why doesn't that? Maybe that really can only be percentages. Ugh. Let's take a look at radial gradient. MDN, that'll do. position, background position or transform origin. Okay. So why have I actually got to specify top and left to do it the way I want? Because that would be annoying. Left 0, top 305 pixels. Then it should have been on the left hand side somewhere. Let's make that 25 pixels. It's really not. Oh well, that's something to play with another day. Let's load up my best. Is there any that we can crunch a little bit? 140 pixels. Can we divide that by 4? Probably 12 will be 3 and another 20. So that should be 35 VW. Are there any others that we can... 198 is such a horrible number. Is it divisible by 3? Well, 3 sixes would get me 18, so 33 VH? No, 66 VH. Let's try 66 VH. That looks absolutely spot on, so that's good. Can we crunch those together because they've got percent signs? Yes, we can. We don't need that space. We do actually need that semicolon this time. We don't need that semicolon. Anything else we can get rid of? No, I think that's going to be as good as we get, so let's submit that and call it a day. That's not terrible. Can't see another way of doing it easily, so we'll call it a day there. Thanks for watching and goodbye.